Bottom 4, Buchanan facing Jason Schmidt. To center, Marquise Chris Newton. Sean Burrows scores. Buchanan into third with a triple, and we're tied up. Schmidt had allowed only 1 earned run in 3 straight complete games coming in. Going for his 4th straight complete game. Wouldn't get it. Bottom 6, Buchanan at it again. It was 3 for 4. To left, they wave Mark Loretta as Schmidt allowed 4 runs on 7 hits in 7. Padres were up 5-2 in the 9th, and they go to shooter. Rod Beck in for the save, facing Barry Bonds with 2 on. Oh, the splitter. Next batter, Jose Cruz Jr. Hard shot, Ryan Klesko. He goes surfing a lot. And Rod Beck gets saved number 7. Padres beat San Fran for just the 2nd time in 8 meetings this year.
Arizona at Los Angeles. The Dodgers have lost 7 straight for the first time in 10 years. Odalis Perez is 0-5 in his last 7 starts, and he decided to pop off about the team's anemic bats. All the pressure's on the pitching staff. That's not fair. We're not here to be wasting our time. We have to win games. When you don't score runs, you're not going to win. As expected, Perez's opinion went over well with his mates. Paul Lo Duca responded with, if you have a problem with something, you should talk to the team and not pop off in the paper. If you're going to pop off in the paper, then you've got no guts. Bad English, but a good point. Dodgers have scored a total of 11 runs during their 7-game losing streak, but they get the first one on the board when Mike Kincaid scores Lo Duca, who had reached on an error. Top 7, Perez has a no-no going. Lo Duca keeps it alive with the lovely stop of that Steve Finley-driven baseball. Same frame, same situation. Lo Duca keeping the no-no intact by flashing the love glove again. No love for Luis Gonzalez. Perez loving Lo Duca. Top 8 leadoff man is Shea Hillenbrand. And we've got the no-no still going. 0-1 pitch, and the no-no is
run.
No more.
Oh.
Never criticize a man until you've walked in his moccasins or slipped on his cleats, but there's those who thought Sean Green should have gotten his uniform dirty chasing that ball. They actually booed him in his home park when he came up to bat. Green said no way he could have caught it. Speaking of no way, top 9, Eric Gagne. Gonzo, forget about it. Gagne's 38th consecutive save, 30th this season, 2-0 Dodgers. All of you hoping to see Kevin Brown pitch against his former employer in San Diego Tuesday. Instead, you're going to get Wilson Alvarez. Brown out because of a lower abdominal strain. Injured himself Thursday running the base paths against the Pods. Brown currently on a 3-game.
The A's in Oakland, and Aaron Harang, and a harangue in the first. Leadoff guy David Eckstein. He was 2 for 5, singles up the middle. Next batter, it's Jeff DeVannen, and Harang putting the top of the Anaheim order on base. 2 men on now for Tim Salmon, who had homered just 4 times in his previous 54 games. Let's cue Rex Hudler and Steve Physiok.
95% of the time when the pitching coach comes out, you got a fastball coming right here for Salmon.
And Salmon belts it high in the air, deep to center, burns at the wall. It's gone.
Good call, Rexy. 2 homers for Salmon. Saturday, numbers 12 and 13. Harang allowed 4 runs on 7 hits and only 1 2/3. Billy McMillan in the 8th, long but foul with the A's down 5-3. Would have tied it. Same at bat. Brendan Donnelly gets him. Angels win 6-3. Ramon Ortiz wins for the 6th time in 7 starts.
Rangers hosting the Mariners. Seattle's 30 road wins, the most in baseball. Jamie Moyer going for his 12th victory of the year. Bottom 4, Juan Gonzalez going for his 2nd home run in as many days. Deep center, 20th. 8th and 9th RBI in his last 5 games. It's 2-1 Rangers. Top 7, same score. John Thompson to Randy Wynn with men on 1st and 2nd. Wynn's going to lay down the bunt now. You see the arrow. Home plate umpire Ted Barrett called the play dead. Einar Diaz and Hank Blaylock kept playing, and they almost took A-Rod out. Look at Blaylock. Look at A-Rod. Oh, hey, man. No damage done. Top 10, game tied at 2. Win on 2nd. Oogie Urbina to Dan Wilson. Came in 7 for 14 in his last 4 games. Makes the blooper reel. And Wynn, the former Hawaii Winter Leaguer, scores. Mariners up 3-2.
What time is it there?
It's the right time there all the time. Bottom 10, Shigetoshi Hasegawa. How about this? He got Rodriguez, Palmeiro, and Juan gone in order. His 3rd save. Mariners win it 3-2. At Chicago, Sean Estes winless in his last 4 starts, and this is not the start he hoped for. For the 2nd consecutive day in his first at-bat, Jim Edmonds orders a shot at Jack. Edmonds has homered in 8 of his last 11 games. Albert Pujols also homered Friday. He was 1 for 7 career against Estes coming in. The 1 a homer. Like that one, his 26th. 5-0 Cards. Legal flashback time. Moises Alou with a triple scoop Friday, homering in the 2nd, 4th, and 9th innings. Cubs still lost. Back to reality. Or Saturday. Matt Morris 2-0 against the Cubs this season. Now at 5-1 after Alou's solo job. His 4 homers ties a career high over a 2-day period. 5-2 in the 5th when Sammy decides it's time to tie Ernie Banks and Eddie Matthews for 14th on the career home run list with number 512. 2-out, 2-run shot. Makes this a 1-run game. Bottom 7, Cards trying to hold on. Tom Goodwin on 2nd after a walk and a sacrifice. Moved to 3rd when Cal Eldred goes wild with Sammy at the stick. And Eldred followed that with this. And here comes Goodwin. Said afterwards he kind of closed his eyes when he slid. Well, when he opened them up, he was safe. The game was tied. Bottom 9, still tied with runners on 2nd and 3rd. Esteban Yan instructs Sammy to take a whiff of that. With 2 out and first base open, Moises, you're going to get a freebie. And that's going to bring up Alex Gonzalez, who has had 6 game-ending hits in the 9th inning during his 2 years in Chicago. Make it 7. Neither Scott Rowland nor Edgar Renteria can make the play. 6-5. Cubs pull within 1 game of the NL Central leading Cardinals.
Pirates looking for the 3rd straight win, hosting the Astros at PNC. Bottom 3, that's Aramis Ramirez. Check out the left elbow pad. It's sticking way out there, and Jimmy Williams with 1M comes out, and, you know, he's like, hey, that's distracting from my pitcher. Can you get that in there? All right, Lloyd McClendon, you know, hey, well, don't be messing with my man's pad. All right, same at bat now. They finally get that whole pad thing straightened out. And Ramirez, deep fly to center. Craig Biggio's out there. And clearly the pad affecting the hole at bat. Nice catch. Bottom 4, Jeff Rebele has a no way. This one to 3rd. And watch the hop. Hits 3rd base. Goes into left. This is going to be a top 10 nominee. Ball hits the edge of the grass, the dirt, hits the 3rd base bag, misses Morgan. It hits everything but Morgan Ensberg. That's a double for Rebele. Next batter, Jeff Suppan, the pitcher, over the head of Lance Berkman. Rebele scores Suppan's first ever Major League extra base hit. He allowed only 2 earned runs in 7 innings, and the Pirates win their 3rd in a row. Ramiro Mendoza says, I like starting because you can relax. Red Sox fans never relaxed watching this former Yankee coming out of their bullpen by committee. Mendoza was an absolute disaster, a horror show, pummeled for 60 hits in 38 1/3 innings of relief. 60 hits until he was DL'd and banished to the nether regions of the minor leagues to get himself worked out. After 12 scoreless innings at single A, Mendoza Saturday finally got the chance to do what he'd been asking the Red Sox to do since spring training. Start a former Yankee facing former Red Sox Rocket Roger Clemens. July 4th, we celebrated independence. July 5th, we celebrate traitors like Benedict Arnold. Clemens and Mendoza pitching for their longtime rivals. What about it, Rocket?
I won't play with any other team. I think there's something to be said when you have a Ripken in Baltimore, a Puckett in Minnesota. You know, Mattingly in New York. When they think about me, I'm going to be a Red Sox.
Until he immediately signed with Toronto. Didn't even stay in the country. Top 2, Clemens hits Kevin Millar. Millar stayed in the game. Next batter, first pitch, Trot Nixon. He owns Clemens, owns his 13th. Red Sox up 2-0. Nixon 12 for 32 career against the Rocket with 3 home runs. Mendoza in trouble in the 2nd. Runner on 3rd, Todd Zeile. Noma Garcia Para, the Noma of Noma. Mendoza worked 5 scoreless, allowing only 5 hits, all singles. Top 4, David Ortiz. Had 2 home runs on Friday. Another one here. Ortiz's teammates had jokingly started calling him Juan Pierre because he wasn't hitting any home runs. He's hitting a lot now. Red Sox up 3-0. Top 5, Johnny Damon on first, goes for second. Error on the throw by Posada. Damon to third, and the Rocket, like any good pitcher, over there to cover the bag. Ouch. This looked a lot like Derek Jeter and Ken Huckabee in Toronto. Clemens would stay in the game as they exchange shoulders. Still top 5 now, Todd Walker, and Clemens a little distracted by Damon over there at third. Heads up! Damon scores 6-0 Boston. Clemens tagged for 8 runs, 7 earned in 5 1/3. Top 9, David Ortiz. Say it along with me. It is high, it is far. Sorry. 4 homers in the 2 games so far. Ortiz, the first visiting player ever with consecutive multi-home run games at the stadium. Red Sox win 10-2.
Toronto and Baltimore. It was hot in Camden, 100 degrees. So which one of these Orioles is going to be hotter? Will be Louis Matos? How about Melvin Mora? Leads the AL in batting at 350. Jeff Conine or Sidney Ponson? Well, bottom third, no score. Start the hot highlight. Matos with the single to right. He went 3 for 4, so he was hot. Mora, the single to left. He went 4 for 4 with 2 RBIs, so he was hotter. Next batter, Conine. 3-run homer to left of Corey Lytle. His 11th. O's up 3-0. By day's end, Conine's career numbers against Lytle are going to read 11 for 16 with 3 homers and 8 RBI because he did it again in the 4th. Lytle, 7 runs, 10 hits, and 3 2/3. Conine is hot, but what about Ponson? 8 innings, 4 Ks. His 11th win, O's win 9-2. His 11th win, 1 shy. Montreal at Atlanta. We're going to go to the bottom of the 9th. It's 2-1 Expos. They're 4-1 at the Braves yards this season. Rocky Biddle in to finish this one off, and 1 on, 1 out. Robert Fick grounds into what should have been the game-ending double play, but Orlando Cabrera has lost that glove and feeling. Cabrera hit a homer earlier. Gaff late, keeps this game going, went right under his glove. Biddle goes from the save to save me. Javi Lopez, bases loaded. Ouch. It's 2-2 in the pregame buffet. Not agreeing with Frank Robinson. More Maalox moments on the way. Full sacks, full count to Rafael for a call. He was down 0-2 in the count. That's called ball 4. Walk-off walk. Braves win it 3-2.
Marlins Phil's at the vet. Oh, that Philly fanatic. Oh, the kids love him. Can you do that? Top 1, Pudge. Off Vicente Padilla. A solo shot is 11th. Padilla tagged for 5 runs on 6 hits and 5. It's 1-0 Florida. They were up 5-1 in the 7th. Rodriguez again. It's a top 10 nominee. Jimmy Rollins from his knees. The one hopper and a nice scoop by Tomey. Bottom 7, 2 on for Placido Polanco. Uno Polono Polanco. Off Derek Lee, but a nice recovery job, and they get Polanco. Marlins get out of the inning. Bottom 8, man on second for Pat Burrell. To right, Mike Lieberthal is coming home, but Burrell tries for 2. Larry Boa said this was a bad play, saying Pat's got to realize that we're behind. He's out. Phillies lose 5-4. Florida only 4 back of the Phils for the
Mays issues include an ERA of 19.06 in his last 2 starts. And top 1, well, there's how he starts. It's Ben Broussard in the knee. No fight breaks out. Next batter is Casey Blake, and he was 0 for 11 in his last 3 games after a 12-game hitting streak. That's a hit. Milton Bradley, he's got game, and Shane Spencer, they score a double for Blake. It's 3-0 Tribe. 4-1 Indians in the 3rd. Broussard at 2nd. Blake base hit, and Broussard's going to make it home safe, and Blake's going to go all the way to 3rd, but it's ruled a single. It's 5-1 Indians. 9-2, top 7, and Blake, a Han Solo. So Blake has 4 RBI and is triple short of the cycle. He's up again in the 9th, and forget the triple. Casey Blake, top 10 nominee, went 5 for 5 with 2 homers and 7 RBI against his former team, and the Indians beat the Twins 13-2.
Royals 7-0 against the Tigers this season, coming in a Saturday night's meeting. Top 1, Brad Boyles facing Dimitri Young. And Dimitri Young wins. A solo shot is 17th. Tigers have hit 7 homers in their last 2 games. Top 5, 2 on, 1 out for Craig Monroe. Deep to right field. And Michael Tucker. Oh, it's bright out there. Error on Tucker that loads the bases, and it would lead to a Detroit run. Still top 5, Ramon Santiago. He'll foul this one into the dugout box, and watch this. A lucky woman sitting there gets the ball as a souvenir. But hold on. The guy next to her says, hey, you know, it hit me right here. You could, you know, I've been doing those Pilates and stuff. You could give me the ball. All right. We don't need to see that.
Oh, please.
No, don't do that. Touch the Buddha. Top 6, Alex Sanchez drops one down. Mike DeFelice tries to knock it foul. Randy Marsh is not fooled. DeFelice says something he shouldn't have. He's ejected. Royals lose 9-5. Alan Trammell said something new for him. Winning is fun.
Chicago and Tampa Bay D-Rays have won 2 straight. Remember on June 13th when Lou Piniella promised he'd dye his hair if his club won 3 in a row? It's been so long I've forgotten it, but if they go out and win, they'll get it. Well, Going to have to get it against Esteban Loaiza, who was 6-0 on the road. Javier Valentin doesn't care, puts the D-Rays on the board with his second homer of the season. So Lou thinking if we win, you know, I might look good in, what color is that?
Magenta?
Yeah. Top 6 color, the D-Rays in trouble. Bases loaded, just one out, but Brandon Backby gets Tony Graffinino and Miguel Olivo.
Like an Andy Warhol team.
Lou may go purple. Bottom 7, Julio Lugo with 2 on. RBI single to right. Damian Rolls scores 2-0 Rays. Will they win 3 in a row? Will Lou go red? You know what they say about redheads. Top 9, 3-2 Tampa Bay. Carl of the dinosaur disbelieving Everett's pops out to third. Grab the L'Oreal. Get ready to color Lou, perhaps bright green. Perhaps we'll see the dye job come Sunday. Rays do the job Saturday. Win it 3-2, and they've won 3 in a row, so I'm thinking platinum blonde. Took the D-Rays 85 games to get their first 3-game win streak. Only 5 teams since 1960. Milwaukee Rocks, 14 road wins, are third fewest in the bigs. 138 homers hit at Miller Park. That's tops in the bigs. Todd Helton adding to that collection Saturday. 2-run shot. He fell a double short of the cycle, drove in 4 runs. Bottom 7, Keith Ginter thinks he's got something. Preston Wilson says, you got nothing except I've got a top 10 nominee. And the Rockies, they'll win this baseball game by a score of 9-8.
Thank you, John. Don Pardo. Danny Graves mowing down Mets at Great American Ballpark. Top 6, Timo Perez. And he flies out to right. Graves had a no-hitter through 6. But then in the 7th, Graves said the Mets just hit them where nobody was. Kind of a spin on the whole Wee Willie Keeler deal. Top 7, Jeremy Burnitz. Well, nobody was there. Bell scores. Burnitz to third. No more no-no. Mets score 4 in the inning. They win 6-2 as Steve Traxel gets the victory. Steve Traxel now 4-1 in his last 5 starts.